Hello you. Today I'm not your car host, I'm a car salesman. And I'm going to be talking about this beautiful, this marvelous car which almost everyone has been talking about. Now as a prospective buyer, you might be having a long checklist. Does this car have features? Is the engine powerful? Well, I'm going to be telling you why this Mahindra XUV300 is the best vehicle in the segment. Now in terms of design, it looks very striking. Firstly, it has a very long wheelbase. In fact, it's the longest wheelbase in the segment. It is also having a wide track, and up front you get these beautiful lights with projector setup, and the DRL also continues between the headlight and the fog light, which kind of looks quirky and nice. Now this car is obviously based on the SsangYong Tivoli, the X100 platform, and it is internally known as the S201. But it obviously gets a lot of Mahindra elements like this grille, which might remind you of other XUVs, mainly the XUV500. Certainly looks good because the chrome is a premium touch here. From the side, the sub 4 meter makes it look small. However, this car gets some really nice elements like the bold line which goes through, and of course these big wheels on the top of the line variant which happen to be 17 inches. Nice treatment as well over there. It also gets a dual tone color scheme and a floating roof appearance. The body side molding which runs through the car gets accentuated at the rear because the rear bumper's lower half gets this black treatment, and of course it does a great job in reducing the visual bulk. This car does look very attractive from the rear too. It gets rear LED lights and of course a rear spoiler too. The dashboard design of the XUV300 is really very nice. It gets this dual tone treatment, and Mahindra has equipped it with a lot of features. Some of them are even segment first. So it gets 7 airbags, yes that's right, side curtain airbags, as well as a knee airbag on the top of the line W8 variant. So there are 4 variants on offer: W2, W4, W8 and W8 option. All the variants of the XUV get dual airbags along with ABS and also 4-wheel discs. And that's not all, this car also gets front parking sensors, rear parking sensors, a reverse parking camera which also guides you to put it into parallel park.
Parking mode if you need assistance. Align the arc line with the parking slot line. Then, drive till you find a clear parking slot in the box area.
Then, put the reverse gear and turn the steering wheel.
And you can also zoom the camera if you want. This 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system gets Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity as well. However, audio quality is just about average from the 4 speakers and 2 tweeters in this vehicle. Now, this infotainment system also has something known as the EcoSense app, which pairs with your phone as well as your smartwatch, and you can obviously control it from there. It also rates your driving based on various parameters to tell you if you're driving eco-friendly or you're driving a bit rashly. The XUV300 also gets seatbelt reminders for all the seats, all the headrests are adjustable, and all of the seats also get a proper seatbelt. And the features list doesn't end there, because this car also gets automatic headlights, it also gets automatic wipers, and it also gets keyless entry, push button start and micro hybrid technology. There's also a feature which tells you on the instrument cluster where your steering wheel is actually pointing, which is kind of handy in certain situations. The car also gets steering mounted audio controls. The ones on the left are for the audio system, the ones on the right are for the cruise control. Meanwhile, the instrument cluster gets a nice multi-information display which gives you a plethora of information, but in order to toggle through that menu, you have to use these buttons which aren't really ergonomically sound. Mahindra has also given this car a feature which is there in the Maruti Vitara Brezza. However, the one on the XUV isn't that sophisticated, wherein you can change the color of the instrument cluster. There are 5 colors on offer and you can set different colors for day as well as night. This vehicle also gets an auto dimming inside rear view mirror. Both the sun visors get a mirror as well as an automatic light. And that's not all, because there's a lot of practicality on offer, because there's a lot of storage in this vehicle, right above the glove box to a very deep glove box below the center console, next to the handbrake lever where there are twin cup holders, a large cubby hole under the front center armrest, and extremely big door pockets at the front. The door pockets at the rear are also big enough for a 1 liter bottle. This car also gets adjustable seat height and it also gets heated rear view mirrors. Unfortunately, a dead pedal is missing. While Mahindra has missed out on giving any port for charging at the rear, at the front you get 2 USB ports and aux as well as a 12-volt charging socket. Quality levels are definitely better than what we have seen in Mahindra cars, but this vehicle has a lot of hard plastics all over the dashboard. The XUV300 also gets maps with 3D navigation, and right on top of the dashboard you can see a cut for a top box storage, but unfortunately there's nothing out there. These are artificial leather seats, and although comfort levels are good, but underthigh support is poor both at the front as well as the rear. There's decent amount of kneeroom and legroom on offer because the wheelbase is really long, and overall comfort levels inside this car is great, especially because this car gets the beige treatment which gives it an airy feel. And the floor is also flat, which means that 3 people can actually comfortably sit here. The seat back is scooped out, there's a magazine holder over here, and of course the door pockets are large enough. This center armrest also gets twin cup holders. Everyone except the driver gets a handle to hold on to over here, and the ones at the rear also get a coat hook. Mahindra has placed twin lights at the front. Meanwhile, there's a light in the center as well for the cabin. And this cabin does feel very nice and a good place to be in, with decent amount of space and the airy feeling. However, the boot space has been compromised because it is far from being the best in the segment. That said, it misses out on a parcel shelf, and the spare tire doesn't get an alloy either. The Mahindra XUV300 is available with a 1.2 liter petrol engine which produces class-leading 200 Nm of torque and 110 horsepower. We're not driving that today, but we are driving the diesel, which happens to be the 1.5 liter unit which comes from the Marazzo but is offered in a different state of tune. Of course, the gear ratios have been revised too, and it produces slightly lesser power at 115. Meanwhile, again, class-leading numbers, the torque output is 300 Nm. Turbo lag is very well contained. It absolutely picks up pace right from get-go and has good amount of drivability on offer. The mid-range is strong, meanwhile the top end is a bit lacking. This diesel engine is very refined, especially at idle and lower down, but as you get hard onto the throttle, it makes a lot of noise, especially near its 4500 RPM regular. Since this car offers a lot of performance, fuel efficiency numbers aren't that great. The petrol is rated at 17 km per litre as per ARAI, and similarly the diesel is rated at just 20 km per litre. All its rivals offer more fuel efficiency. The clutch is on the lighter side, the gearbox is slick shifting, but sometimes it requires slight more effort to get through the gears. The XUV300 also gets ESP, and it's a very funny system because you can turn it off, but it turns on its own after I think 60 km per hour. The XUV300 is underpinned by a monocoque chassis, and in terms of ride handling balance, Mahindra has nailed it because the suspension setup is just right. It rides well, it handles well, body roll is well controlled. Yes, there is roll around the corners, but it feels so sure-footed as well because these tires are massive. They offer splendid grip, and even when you get hard onto the brakes, no screeching from the rubber, it just stops sure-footedly. The ABS has been calibrated really well too. The steering also offers good amount of feel and feedback. There's a button over here which lets you change the steering feel, and it actually works. You can get into normal, comfort and sport. Obviously, the steering weighs up better in sport mode, giving you some amount of feel and feedback as well. Another nifty feature available in this vehicle is tire pressure monitoring. The XUV300 remains really stable at high speeds, it remains glued to the road, and most importantly, this vehicle has decent amount of ground clearance. Although it's a front wheel drive, so it really can't go off-road as such, but Mahindra should probably consider bringing in an all-wheel drive version in the future. Like I told you in the start, this is the best car in the segment because it has the most features, a lot of segment first features, the most power from the engines. Although they're not the most frugal, it rides well, it handles well, and in terms of offering bang for the buck, well, still nobody can beat Mahindra. This car is certainly the one which is going to put the sales chart on fire and is going to give sleepless nights to other compact SUVs in the market today.